What's up, everybody? Today we've got a 1966 Mustang. We are excited to do a little series. We are going to take this inexpensive 6-cylinder Mustang and turn it into a daily driver on a budget. So we've got some good things going for us. We've got some bad things going for us, like any affordable Mustang project. It's been sitting outside in a ditch. The brakes are locked up. We've got some paint issues. We've got some light rust here and there. Nothing too terrible. Obviously there's some old body work here and some bubbling, but for a daily driver we're not concerned about that. Some positives are, we hooked up a battery. Most electrical seems to work. The heater fan didn't kick on. We've got one brake light that's disconnected. And we got the engine to crank over, but no spark. The doors, however, do close nice and tight. Body lines look good on the trunk, and the trunk closes up tight. We've got a water leak either at this window or the front, probably the front window, but we've got this silicone patch job somebody did we've got to deal with. Driver's door closes and opens real nice. One drawback, somebody did a poor job painting these door panels. I don't even know how you get something to a paint job to look like that, but same thing on the dash. It's just when they painted the steering column, but our steering wheel's looking kind of ragged. The seats are in pretty good shape, but then right away it ripped on the bottom when we sat in it. Because again, it's been sitting for probably 20 years. Last time it was tabbed was 2003. One tire had a hole in it, so we got the spare on there, which is holding air. The hood, everything is lined up pretty well except for this replacement piece here, which has got a little gap. I don't know if closing that gap will probably put it within range. The hood doesn't want to shut all the way. We haven't tried doing it with a lot of force, but it swings right on open, no problem, and it's not too nasty in here. You know, a lot of them are rusty like this, but they're fuzzy with rust, more like that, but worse, all over the place when you open the hood. So when I opened the hood on this one, I thought, this is pretty solid. You know, all the levers work. The seats slide forward and back when you hit the lever to adjust the seats. The interior lights work, the blinkers work, headlights and the high beams work. What else? It had a brand new, a new looking solenoid, a newer looking starter down there, a newer looking fuel pump, and it's got a brand new coil in the cab. We went ahead and bought plug wires, cap and rotor, and spark plugs for about $100, and then we spent another $20 on the voltage regulator, just because it was cheap and we wanted to eliminate that as an issue. The coil is tested good, and so did the new coil. Now we just need to figure out why we're not getting spark to the cap and to the plugs. We got power to the cap, but we're not getting the spark at the plug. So I'm going to check the points and condenser, and we got to detail this thing up. So those are two things that we can do right now without spending a bunch of money, and while we decide, you know, big things like this thing's been repainted, so there's one downside, but it's also kind of an upside because it seems to have preserved the car pretty well. So, but they did repaint it the wrong color, or not the wrong color, but I believe this to be a factory gold car, and so, you know, you had gold with this beige interior, gold and beige interior, which are not ideal colors for me. So thinking we probably will do a full black swap over, minus the headliner. We'll probably leave the headliner white because it won't look out of place. Nobody, you know what I mean? And it tends to make your interior brighter inside, which isn't a bad thing. And so we may go black with steering wheel, seats, seat belts, door panels, and carpet kit. But I'm an interior guy, so that part should be, you know, just labor, not too difficult. Looks like we got, you know, the paint's not great, but so again, cleaning it up. We're gonna start with cleaning it up. We're gonna pull these wheels off, see if we can free up the brakes. The carburetor is missing some linkage on the back side here. This is not hooked up to this. So first things, get to detailing, figure out the spark, and then we'll work on getting those brakes wrapped up. All right, let's get started. All right, it just fired, so I'm assuming maybe the coil wires were reversed, because I did notice that. But shut it off real quick, because I remembered. Exhaust is packed full of mud. You want to dig that out, Trey? From sitting in the ditch. So it's not going to run very good with the exhaust packed full. Jam in there. It's like a bunch of freaking rocks. So we'll get that out, and then we'll get to business. All right, I'm gonna try the key just to see, you know, I don't know. It won't crank from the key, so one of the first things we need to look into. We're gonna pull the gauges so we can get to the wiring right below here into the ignition and check why there's no action when we're trying to get action. So we just got done. I double checked the rotor, make sure it was spinning and that the points were gapping, and they were, and I could see spark in between the points. For some reason my test light wasn't really lighting, which is odd to me because I'm cranking it over to see if there's a light in here, and I reach over here and put my hand in it, and all of a sudden the engine fired up. So again, I'm assuming that it was just these two wires on the coil were swapped. Plus, you know, we did the tune-up stuff. So
maybe it was the regulator.
We don't know. We don't know. It could have been the regulator. We don't know. We just swapped that out last night and cranked it a couple times, and we weren't really trying to start it. We were just trying to see if we had spark. So maybe we missed the fact that we had spark. I didn't know, but problem solved. So now that we unplugged the exhaust, I'm gonna go ahead and crank it up. Maybe I'll give it a little shot of fuel. I don't know if we'll be able to rev the engine at all because of the state of the carburetor. It might just be the choke that's unhooked, in which case we don't need it to run the car. I'm not a super versed on carburetors, you know. I understand them, but I don't. This one looks like it's leaking quite a bit. Dang. Maybe we ought to keep an eye out for fire, huh? All right, I'm gonna jump to the start pole on this solenoid and just see if she'll fire up. Let's do a little starting fluid on. Maybe a throttle crank. If that don't work, we'll do starting fluid. Blowing out the back. Now, true, we don't know what kind of gas or how old the gas or how much gas is in the car. So, yeah, good start though. Give it another shot of the throttle here.
She wants don't see it anymore.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it was just burning off a little bit of
The remaining
starting fluid we had stuck in it the other day. Sounds like it's got an exhaust leak pretty bad. Not sure which cylinder, but and maybe it'll go after it warms up. I don't know. But it wouldn't hurt to slap it in reverse real quick and see if the transmission works. Except for I don't have any brakes. Forgot about that. Oh yeah, transmission works, baby. Well, goes into reverse and goes into drive. That's a win. Now let's see if we can get a little RPM out of it. Ooh, she didn't like that. Okay. Moving on to the cleanup phase. We got some work to do. Got a decent dent in the car right there, or in this fender, which is obviously not a new fender. It's got a little rust on it. So we're gonna go ahead. She does run after sitting for 20 years. We're gonna go ahead and get it cleaned up for an initial wash job, so we've got something cleaner to work with. And that also gives you time to assess the car, get up close and personal with it, and find additional things that it may need or that might be broken and whatnot. It's fall and it's pretty nasty out today, and we don't have a garage space to do this at the moment, and so we're just moving forward anyways, because you know, one of the big things of working on a car like this is keeping your excitement and momentum rolling and keeping it moving. So we're gonna do it through we're gonna try to work on this every week or every month throughout the winter, and see if springtime we can't be daily driving this thing.
The hold on, this red thing is the same color as this, so at some point
yeah,
it did have a good.
Oh yeah, this is off of a.
Changed it.
They wrecked it. They hit something, so they bought a new fender and got this off a parts car. The grill is cleaning up pretty nice. It was pretty gross. Couldn't tell it was even aluminum or shiny at all. As you can see there, behind where it's still dirty. Chrome's coming out nicer. The rain gutters don't look so hot. I can't see in there very good in the camera, but could be worse. All right. And then we got some black overspray on the trim here. Gonna get that off with our lacquer thinner. We're gonna go ahead and clean this bumper up with steel wool, 000 or triple-aught steel wool. They're cheap, but this is a budget build, and that will look just fine for now. This has got some body damage, but you can probably just bend it out with your hand like so. This is a locking gas cap. We need to get rid of that. Get a factory Mustang cap on there. I don't know what that is. What else do we find? We found, yeah, just more. I don't know what that is. Some sort of epoxy or something. Maybe there's rusty cracks under there, I don't know. Got a rust bubble there. Rain gutter. Obviously this is a rustier side. Of the car, but again, it's gonna be a driver for my teenager, so I'm not worried about it. That ain't gonna hurt nobody from inside the car. Cleaning it, it's getting cleaned up. We got these, I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, you can see them. Window scratches. No real good way to get those to show up on camera. There you go. So we've got some window scratches, and you can polish and buff these out of glass. I've seen it done, but I've never actually done it, so this might be something we attempt to do. It's not a make or break. We could drive it like that, but it'd be nice to get that out. Then we've got, you know, missing clips. I'm just pointing out things we found since we started washing the car, because you get an up close look at it. Wheels and tires are shot, you know, they look good, but aside from being just really old, look at that bubble. This bubble will bulge out until the tire bursts if you start driving it around. And obviously these wheels are shot. I actually got some slivers off of it a minute ago. Getting that grill shined up. All right, so that's the car after the first wash, and it runs after sitting for over 20 years. We are excited. It means we're on a good track. We've got it washed, we've got it fired up in the first day of working on it. This should be a lot of fun. Next video we'll tackle getting the wheels all freed up so that we can go on a test drive. I'm probably gonna have to go ahead and order new wheels and tires as well, because these just aren't gonna cut it for a test drive. And of course, once we get the brake fixed, we're definitely gonna wanna go on a drive. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you wanna keep up with the series and see how this thing turns out. Turn it into a sweet daily driver. Catch you on the next one.